What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Weekly Playbook. I am your host, Ricky Valero. On today's episode, we have one heck of an episode to break down with you guys. Each week, I break down the biggest stories shaking up the sports world, from the NFL to NBA to UFC, WWE, FIFA World Cup, soccer, everything in between. We're covering the headlines, the drama, the trades, the upsets, the viral moments, everything you need to know. And we're fresh off the big USA game, folks. Oh my God, folks. Obviously, the big headline of today's episode is Balogun, red card suspension suspended. He got the red card, was set to be out for tonight's USA game, was inside the game, but it didn't matter as Belgium put the boot to that ass on USA, beating them 4-1. But we'll dive more into that in just a few moments. Obviously, we have some other big topics to break down today. Jaylen Brown traded to the 76ers. UFC 329, the return of Conor McGregor. World Cup drama, winners and losers. And then, of course, we break it off with a little bit of hot take on the end of the episode. But we've got to talk about the big game from today, folks. We're starting off hot and fresh. You know what I mean? USA, oh my Lord, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, 4-1, 9 minutes into the game. Charles de Ketelaar scored at the 9th and the 33-minute. Now, Malik Tillman with a beautiful goal early in the first half, 31 minutes into the game, tied it 1-1. It felt like the first 20 minutes of this game, it was Belgium just pushing the ball down the U.S. throat over and over and over and over again. And it didn't really change. However, that goal at the 31st minute, it almost felt like there was going to be this brief, monumental shift in what was happening, but it didn't. It didn't start there. Literally, like 90 seconds later, we had another goal on the board for Charles. That was crazy to me. And then, of course, in the 57th minute, Hans Vanaken put it in, made it 3-1. And it felt like from that moment on, which it felt like the entire game, this was a team that was not ready to be up against Belgium. I mean, Belgium, 15 shots, 7 on target, to USA's 6 shots, only 2 on target. Insane to me. This was crazy. They just dominated them on every side of the field. They just kept going. It was like pedal to the metal. It was like literally watching pedal to the metal the entire time. This, of course, knocks out the USA out of this, which leads to Belgium playing Spain, who beat Portugal early in the day, 1-0. Obviously, that means Ronaldo's time in the World Cup is over, probably his last World Cup appearance of his storied career. But they scored in the 91st minute. Michael Morano scored, assisted by Ferran Torres. It was a hell of a game, hell of a defensive battle. Scored in that 91st minute. It looked like we were going to get a little bit of overtime, a little extra time, but you know what? They were like, Spain's like, nah, we're good here. We're not going to do anything like that. Obviously, the previous day's competition saw, previous couple days, we got Morocco playing France in the quarterfinals. And then, of course, Norway playing England. Obviously, everybody's favorite player right now, Erling Haaland, scored the brace 2-1 over Brazil. Quite an upset on certain standards. And then, of course, England beat off Mexico in one of the best. Like the game was incredible. It was such an incredible game. Like we've been blessed with so many good games in this World Cup. Obviously, Cape Verde versus Argentina. What a game that was! That was one of the coolest, like just most incredible games I've ever seen. But in order to go to the next round, obviously we have Argentina versus Egypt tomorrow. We have Switzerland taking on Colombia. Obviously, Colombia's favorite, and then of course Argentina is favored heavily, -700 over Egypt. They were even bigger favorites over Cape Verde, and Verde gave them the business. And Argentina might be a little tired from the big game that they had just a few nights ago. But moving on to Thursday's game, we have one game only Thursday. France versus Morocco. It's going to be at 3 p.m. France is heavy favorite, -390 favorite over Morocco. And then Friday, we got Belgium versus Spain. Spain favorite by 320 over there. And then, of course, right now, England and Norway playing at 4 p.m. And England is the current favorite over Norway. But, of course, Argentina versus Egypt, and then Switzerland versus Colombia. Whoever wins will face each other Saturday night, July 11th. It'll be quite an interesting game. We got Messi possibly going back into the quarterfinals. Could we get a Messi versus Holland matchup? That'd be pretty crazy, but that's where it's lining up to be right now. Obviously, we have Mbappe sticking around, ready to carry France, who really feel like they're going to be pretty good. Like they feel like they might be the be all and end all here. But yeah. So outside of that, obviously moving into the world of UFC, UFC 329 is happening. Conor McGregor set to take on Max Holloway as a battle. It's going to be a huge card, right? We have a big card that night. And that's crazy, right? That day is going to be insane. You got Norway, England, possibly Argentina versus Colombia or Switzerland. Massive. You got UFC happening 329 that night. Conor McGregor returning to his first fight in quite a few years, taking on Max Holloway. Holloway right now the favorite to win, minus 210 to favorite, but it would be interesting. I think it'd be interesting to see if Holloway can and do a little bit of damage and how much what kind of shape is Connor going to be in? How fast is he going to try to end this fight? That's a big question for me is how long can he last? You know what I mean? That's the big one. But no, it's St. Dennis, 17-3, taking on Patty the Batty. I love Patty the Batty. Big fan of Patty the Batty. Obviously, Patty's coming off that loss. That's it. He's 23-4 in his career. He's coming off that loss. Who did he lose to again? It was Justin Gaethje. I mean, Gaethje beat him in a unanimous decision back in December. First fight since that loss, and it was his first loss in the UFC actually as well. So it's definitely interesting to see how he's going to bounce back with that from that loss, taking on Benoit St. Dennis. Obviously, 17-3 in his career. He's coming off four was it five was it four game yeah 4 fight win streak right now, hasn't lost since 2024. Last fight coming against Dan Hooker in January of this year. He beat him with punches and elbows from the full mount in round number 2. He's got 4 straight finishes. Oh my lord. Arm triangle choke, rear naked choke, left hook, punches and elbows. Patty the Batty's definitely in for a big fight. Obviously right now Patty the Batty is the underdog in this fight, so the number 5 and 6 fighters in the lightweight taking on each other. Big time fight. Bantamweight fight between Corey Sandhagen and Mario Batista. This is definitely one of the more interesting fights as well, right? Number 5, number 7 fighters in the UFC bantamweight right now. I'll tell you what, this is a little bit of a redemption fight for Sandhagen coming off that fight versus Della Valle. I can't say his name. Sorry, guys. I'm terrible with names. But coming off that fight where he lost to Mareb and by the unanimous decision back in October, he's got to come back and win this fight. You know what I mean? He's got to get back on his feet. Last time he lost to Umar back in 2024 fight night, and then came back and beat Figueiredo via knee injury, obviously back in May of 25. So try to bounce back from the Marib fight. I think it's going to be interesting as Mario Batista is coming in here with a coming bouncing off. He lost to Umar. Everybody lost to Umar. But he's coming off a Vinicius Oliveira real naked choke round 2 win back in February of this year. So another fight this year for him. I'll be honest with you. I like Sandhagen to bounce back from the loss and to take home the victory against Batista. Obviously, another one that's going to be a big card. Obviously, Lanier Kavanaugh versus Brandon Rival. This is a 10-1. Lanier, obviously, he's coming. He's 3-1 since Kavanaugh's 3-1 since joining the UFC, coming off a win against Brandon Moreno. He's trying to rise the ranks, obviously, in the flyweight, but Royal's looking to bounce back after 2 straight losses. Lanier is a favorite, and I'm looking for him to win here. I think this might go the distance. Give me the distance on this fight. I don't think this is going to go. It's definitely not going to go to. I don't think it's going to be a finish here. I don't see that happening. But that's some of my predictions for UFC 329. Don't wait to check it out. Paramount Plus this Saturday. NBA, obviously, LeBron James announces he is leaving the Lakers. His options seem to be returning to the Cavs. He's got the Heat on the table, jumping over there and joining Embiid and Brown for the 76ers. Obviously, LeBron seemingly wants a chance at a title, and I believe the move to the East is probably his best course of action to get back to the finals. The West is stacked. The West is stacked with a lot of good teams. You got the Spurs. You've got the Thunder. That's why I think I really feel like he's really looking at these East teams and going to join one of them. I don't see him joining the Heat. I think the Cavs are probably the favorite, but man, Embiid, Brown, and LeBron on the floor together could be a lot of fun to watch. And then the biggest news of the week, man. What a bonkers trade. After missing out on Giannis, we were like, we're not going to try to repair the relationship with Jaylen Brown. What we're going to do instead is we're going to trade him, and we're going to trade him for Paul George. He's got a massive, like $115 million left on his contract for 2 firsts, 2 seconds. Paul George for Jaylen Brown. The Sixers fleece these guys. How do you trade this player to your division, to your rival? Your rival's out here making tweets and making fun of you now. This is an insane trade. I cannot believe it. And I'm still befuddled. And everybody's like, well, maybe you got to trust the GM. He's done a lot of things. I don't know. I don't know about that. All right. So my winners and losers for the week. My winners, Cape Verde goalie Vazina. Obviously, Jasmir Diaz. He played out of his mind against Argentina. This was one of the most incredible soccer games I've ever seen in my entire life. I watched it from start to finish, and it was just Cape Verde was the underdog. And it got to the point where it's like, man, you really want to watch more Messi. You really want to watch more Messi. I've seen Messi in person. It's incredible to see, but you start to root for the underdog. It's like a Rocky story, right? Playing out right in front of everybody. It's like boom, boom, boom. They score a goal. It's a wrap. No, Cape Verde, boom, scores a goal. Insane. Like, dude, easily one of the bigger winners of the week. Obviously, the other big winner is Erling Haaland. Carrying Norway to the quarterfinals for the first time in the country's history. He scored 7 goals so far in the World Cup right now. The total goals Norway has scored in the entire history of the World Cup is 7. It's kind of crazy. He came through clutch with a brilliant shot outside of the box and just drilled it home after the header early on in the game. Big win for them, and their goal is to try to go in and upset England. Another game where they are not favorites, where they can try to win. Losers of the week. Anybody not watching the World Cup? Really, it's truly a spectacle that has been really out of this world. Anyone that doesn't enjoy this sport is dumb to me. I don't know. I've loved every minute of it. It's been really incredible. I've watched so much soccer, and I just got into soccer recently, a couple of years ago, watching MLS. Big NSC fans out here, but to me, I loved it. I loved the elements of what we got to see. It was really exciting. It's been so much fun watching the games. I really wish they weren't on in so weird times. Like, we're getting to the quarterfinal and they're during the day, and it's like, I got work. And so it's like, I'm trying to watch bits and pieces of it, but I really wish I can soak it in a little bit more. Thank God we got 2 games coming up on Saturday, but definitely wild. All right, for me, hot take segment of the week. This one's a little bit controversy, right? We saw the big wedding. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't want to talk about it, but a lot of people are talking about the big wedding. Obviously, we're talking about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's big wedding. And you know what? These folks found happiness. They did what they wanted. They had the big wedding. They went to MSG. It was lavish, 1,000 people. They said their vows, very intimate ceremony with a lot of people, but also intimate. Only the people they wanted there. Very tight-knit group of people. And I'm happy for them. You know what I mean? I love that they donate all that money to charity, $26 million. Anybody critical of that is bonkers to me. Like, that is insane to me to hear these people just absolutely criticize, oh, $26 million, nothing. You donate some money, $26 million. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. But ensured all the folks that were handling the wedding were taken care of as well. Let these folks be happy, and hopefully the Chiefs miss the playoffs again for the 2nd straight year. That would nothing would make me happier. That would be the goal of this entire scenario, is the Chiefs miss the playoffs. But Swift, Kelsey, excited for both of them. Congratulations on the big wedding. Swifties, I'm sure, excited. We'll get to see her a little bit during probably his last season in the NFL, maybe. But yeah. What did you guys think of the wedding? What do you guys think of the World Cup? What do you think of everything, right? Let me know in the comments below how you dealt with this entire season. What's your biggest sports take of the week? Please do me a favor if you're watching this video. Thank you so much. If you're listening on Spotify platforms, podcast platforms, please hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment right here on the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of the Weekly Playbook. I'll be back next week breaking down the biggest sports stories in the world.